give we're going to give anybody that's hopping on late just a minute or two to get in, and then we're going to start the show. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Do you have a good Wednesday?
I did. A little
Good.
busy, but it was good.
That's good. It seems to be the story for everybody today. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna get started here we're gonna give everybody like one more minute before we get started. I know it's Wednesday, people are kind of getting off work and getting settled. Jocelyn, I'm gonna have you go ahead and mute everybody for now, just so there's not a lot of background noise.
Okay. Yep, they're muted.
And then while you guys are sitting here as we wait, just like I said, we're not going to wait long. I promise we're going to be respectful of your time and get moving. But go ahead and just find that chat feature for us. Give us a hello. And then also let me know that if you can hear me or not. I want to make sure the sound is good and everybody can hear me okay. Angie, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yeah, okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we're gonna actually go ahead and get started. We're also recording this, so we're gonna send this to you guys as a recording as well. So if it feels like we're moving a little fast, just know that you can come back and we'll get that out to you by tomorrow. And you can kind of go back and rewatch, take lots of notes. There's going to be a lot of really good information. And we're going to try to cover as much as possible this evening and be mindful of your time. If you have questions, you guys are more than welcome to put those in that chat box as well. Jocelyn's going to compile all those questions, and then like I said, we'll try to get to as many of those towards the end as we can. Let us know where you're joining us from. I know this is all about Las Vegas home buying. We're going to talk a little bit about the market right now that we're seeing. But if you're joining us from Vegas or somewhere else, just let us know in the chat box as well where you're coming from. We'd love to see that. All righty. Well, we are thrilled to have you. I've got Jocelyn, my partner, as well. We're your partners in crime right now. My name is Allison, and alongside me, like I said, is Jocelyn. Together, we bring a wealth of experience in business, client relations, and much more, all tailored to the world of real estate. And as seasoned professionals, we have the privilege of working with a very diverse range of clients, from buyers to sellers to investors of all kinds as well. What truly excites us is working with buyers. And that's why you guys are here today. We understand that many people feel that home ownership is beyond their reach, but we are here to tell you that for most, this actually could not be further from the truth. Our passion lies in guiding our clients through the process, overcoming obstacles, and ultimately handing you the keys to your brand new home. So thank you for choosing to spend your time with us this evening. We are eager to share our insights and help you on your journey to home ownership. So let's get started. Now, I am truly delighted to be here with you guys this evening. A little about me real quick. I bring over 25 years of experience in sales, consulting, and marketing, which I have seamlessly integrated into my passion for real estate. I began my career in corporate business and sales management, where I honed my skills in client relations and marketing. Today, my mission is to transform your homeownership dreams into reality, even amidst the fluctuations of today's market that we are seeing. 20 years ago, I actually relocated from Texas to Las Vegas. And while Texas will always hold a very special place in my heart, I have actually developed a very deep affection for Las Vegas. It's a vibrant city. It's full of opportunities, not just for individuals, but for families as well. I have raised my children here, and to anyone that questions the family friendliness of Vegas, I know it's like anywhere else, we can kind of feel a little indifferent about that. But truly, I attest that it has been a fantastic place for myself and my family to call home. Outside of my real estate endeavors, I pride my role as a mother and a wife. I enjoy embracing the great outdoors and I love traveling. I do a lot of cooking and enjoy spending quality time with family and friends. And these are the experiences that enrich my professional life, enabling me to connect with clients on a more personal level. My goal is to make your home buying journey as enjoyable and seamless as possible. With my local expertise and a remarkable team supporting me, I am committed to helping you guys find your dream home in Las Vegas. I also work within the Pahrump area, Henderson, Summerlin, and all around. Moreover, I truly enjoy working with buyers who are relocating as well and making that exciting move to our beautiful city, considering I did that same thing just 20 years ago. Miss Jocelyn.
Well, enough about Allison. Here's a bit about me. So my family and I made the move from Southern California to Las Vegas in 2019, drawn by the warm desert sunshine and a more affordable real estate market and the exciting growth happening all around the city. I joined Realty One Group shortly after, which is known for our innovative approach and putting client first. Now, with over 30 years of experience as a full-time real estate agent, professional, and business owner, I've helped everyone from first-time buyers to luxury clients. And I especially love working with people relocating here just like I did. I know Southern California and Las Vegas markets inside and out. And I'm always up for the challenge of navigating complex transactions, keeping up with technology and market trends, and making sure my clients feel confident every step of the way. Now, outside of work, you'll usually find me out on the golf course, spending time with my husband, my grandkids, and or chasing around our two mini schnauzers, Lulu and Portia. They definitely keep me on my toes. Now, whether you're making a big move from out of state or just trying to make sense of a real estate deal here in Las Vegas or Southern California, I've got your back. I'm all about keeping things clear, personalized, and finding smart solutions that makes the whole process easier and more manageable from start to finish. Back to you, Allison.
Love it. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Awesome.
Our primary goal this evening is to ensure you guys leave feeling as prepared as possible. We have a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so we encourage you guys to take notes and jot down any questions that you might have. Attendance varies with each session. Sometimes we have a large group and other times it's a little bit more intimate. We also understand that some may join late, so we'll be flexible to that. And some of you guys might need to leave early, and that's totally fine. Rest assured, you'll have the opportunity to watch or rewatch this webinar at your convenience. Additionally, you can schedule a one-on-one session with us through the link that Jocelyn will share here in the chat box. I'll also provide a QR code shortly, and we highly recommend taking advantage of this. It's actually free. There is literally no obligation. It's just a session to help you get on the right path and address any little bit more personal questions that you guys might have. Before we dive in, feel free to keep your cameras on, or if you'd like, you can keep them off. It's perfectly fine. Everyone will be on mute during the presentation, but we'll open it up towards the end to kind of, if you have any specific questions that you want to ask. So that's the gist there. So now that we've set the stage for our session, let's dive into the exciting topics we'll be exploring tonight. First, we'll start with understanding the current market, where we'll provide insights into the latest trends and what they actually mean for you as a potential home buyer. Next, we'll tackle that age-old question of rent versus buy. Making the right decision, we'll weigh the pros and cons of each option to help you determine which path aligns best with your personal and financial goals. Following that, we're going to dive into credit and financing basics. This section will cover essential information on how your credit score impacts your buying power and the various financing options that are available to you. We'll also discuss down payment assistance programs, highlighting opportunities that can make homeownership more accessible and affordable. Then we're going to guide you through the home buying process very quickly, but it'll also be step by step, providing a very clear roadmap from start to finish so you know exactly what to expect and how to prepare. Finally, we're going to wrap up with a call to action and Q&A session where you'll have the chance to ask any lingering questions and learn about the next steps you can take on your home buying journey. Regardless of your timeline, we want to help you in creating a personalized strategy that caters to your specific needs. No situation is the same from one person to the next. You can access this by clicking the link in the chat box. I think Jocelyn's put that in there. You can also scan that QR code. That is literally going to take you to our scheduling calendar. You pick your day, you pick your time that works best for you. So I would try to get that in quickly so that somebody else doesn't take it from you. And I promise you the QR code it's not spam. Neither is that link that Jocelyn put in there. We're not going to, it's just going to take you to our calendar. It'll allow you to select the most convenient date and time, like I mentioned. This service, again, is entirely complimentary. It does not obligate you to any further commitments, I promise. So I'd love to take a quick little moment to check in with all of you right now, whether this is your very first time exploring the idea of homeownership or you've been down this road before. Go ahead and drop one word in that chat box that best describes how you're feeling right now. Maybe a little bit curious, excited, maybe a little overwhelmed, anxious, or unsure. Those are all valid feelings, and there's probably 1,000 more feelings that we could describe. So if you feel comfortable, just pop that feeling in the box for us. So we're going to dive into the key aspects of the current housing market in Southern Nevada. As many of you may be aware, Southern Nevada, particularly the Las Vegas area, has been witnessing very intriguing trends in the real estate sector. Over the past few years, we have observed a significant surge in home prices influenced by a combination of factors, including low inventory, high demand, and historically low mortgage rates, which have fluctuated over the past couple of years. Recently, however, there have been noticeable shifts in the market. You guys may be already aware of some of these shifts. Inventory levels have begun to rise slightly, providing buyers with more options, while interest rates have also experienced some variability. You might see them go up one day, down the next day, and up again. This dynamic environment necessitates that potential home buyers remain well-informed and strategic in their approach. This is you. We will explore these trends in greater detail, discussing their implications for buyers and offering tips on how to successfully navigate this ever-evolving market.
Okay, Allison, it looks like Rena is concerned. Ritima, I think, is uncertain. So, and Mercedes is unsure. That's like really normal. Those are normal feelings.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, hopefully a lot of the questions that we're going to ask a little bit or answer a little bit later. And then, like I said, we'll kind of, if you want to take the floor and ask those, we can give some information. We're going to have a special guest towards the end. I don't think he's here just yet, which is totally fine. But those are extremely common, very valid feelings. You know, Jocelyn's been there. I've been there. I just, you know, I was in the process of trying to sell a home recently to find my next home. So we're right in the thick of it with you guys, going through all those different emotions. The nice thing is we kind of have the intel. We know what to expect, but it's sometimes hard to guide yourself. Like that's kind of what we're having to do, and that's really tough. So we're there, I promise you. Let's take a look at what's happening in our local real estate market right now. You guys can see the slide here. It's a snapshot of this past June. This is key info, whether you're thinking about buying soon or just trying to kind of time the market right. Single family homes first, let's talk about that. Right now, this is again June, 1,946 homes were sold in the month of June, which is actually down 7% compared to the same time last year. What that tells us is that fewer buyers are pulling the trigger, likely because of interest rates or just waiting for more inventory. But here's the interesting part. New listings are actually up by over 15%. You can kind of do the math there, right? And the number of homes available on the market has jumped 70%. And that's a big shift. It means buyers like you now have more options than we've seen in quite some time. The median price for homes sold is sitting at $485,000, which is up 2.1%. So prices are still holding steady. They're kind of inching up a little bit, but not skyrocketing. Meanwhile, new listings are coming in around just under $520,000, which suggests sellers are still feeling confident in their home values. So we're kind of working against each other in some ways, right? Lastly, let's talk about availability. We now have 3.6 months, so just about almost 4 months of inventory, which is up a full almost 83%, 82.8% is what that is up. That's getting up closer to a balanced market, and that's actually good news for buyers. You'll have more negotiating power and less competition in many areas. Condos and townhomes. So any of you guys that have been thinking about that route, for those considering that, here's what we're actually seeing. 515 units sold in June, and that's down nearly 15%. We got one person coming in, let's get him in here. Even more than the single family side. So again, that's likely due to buyer hesitancy or financing challenges. However, new listings are up just under 12%, and the number of available units is up nearly 88%. And that's a lot of numbers. Just like the single family market, there is a growing pool of options in the condo and townhome area as well. Median prices for condos sold at $305,000, with new listings coming. Did I mute myself?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I talking forever and y'all couldn't hear me?
yeah, just go over maybe the.
Let me, I'll back up just slightly.
Yeah.
So median prices for condos and townhomes are 305,000, with new listings coming in just under that at 297.5, so $297,000. These homes are generally more affordable, and then that price point makes them a smart entry option into home ownership. So something to consider. Most notably, effective availability has reached 5 months, up 120% from last year. And that's actually a huge shift toward a more buyer-friendly market. So what do all those numbers mean for you? Here's the bottom line. Inventory is up. Buyer activity is actually down. Prices are holding fairly steady. They're not surging. And this shift gives buyers more time, more options, and more leverage, especially if you're pre-approved and ready to act. If you've been waiting for the right time, this actually might be your opportunity to shop smart, not rushed. Negotiate stronger and avoid bidding wars. And of course, we're here to guide you through that step, through the start to finish journey. That probably created a lot of questions. So get those written down, pop them in the chat. Jocelyn, you might have to write quickly because we're going to move on. All right. So if you're a first-time home buyer, and remember, first-time home buyers are anybody that has not purchased or owned a home in the past 3 years. So if you owned a home and you sold 5 years ago or 4 years ago, and you're getting ready to purchase again, you are still considered a first-time home buyer. This is good news because things are shifting in your favor. There are more homes available, so you have more choices and less competition. Sellers aren't getting as many bidding wars or offers as they were a year or two ago. So you actually may have more room to negotiate. Prices are still on the higher side, but they're starting to level out. In fact, condos and townhomes are seeing new listings priced a bit lower, like we mentioned earlier, than what's recently sold. And that's great for you guys as buyers trying to get into the market. The bottom line is this could be a great time to buy your first home if you're financially ready. That's the key thing. You've got more options, a little more power, and less rushed buying process. So how are we feeling? Hopefully it's probably created a lot more words of feeling at this point. So bundle those feelings up, pop them in the chat. We kind of like to do some temperature checks and see how you guys are going through this with us. So another big question is, do I rent or do I buy? A lot of you may already be renting. So this would be a really good section to kind of hone in on. We want to help you make the right decision. So a couple of different things when we talk about renting versus owning. We all know that when you're renting, you're literally just building your landlord's wealth. You're paying his mortgage. Your monthly payment is likely to increase. You may be limited in what you can customize in this home if you want to paint or if you want to change the flooring out or the carpet or if something's broken and they're not attending to it. Your hands are kind of tight on that one. You will obviously be paying additional fees and security deposits. And sometimes we've seen fees to get into a rental as high as $10,000, if not higher sometimes. And that's just to get into that rental. Owning, you're building your own wealth. You're paying your own mortgage. Your monthly payment is locked in. Now, the cool thing with that is, let's say some of you guys aren't really happy about the interest rate right now, but you're financially able to purchase. You can always refinance that mortgage when those rates go down, right? We don't know if they're going to go down. We don't know if they're going to go up. We don't know how long they're going to stay here. However, you can refinance and get that payment down lower. You also have the freedom to customize your home and living space as you please. And you will likely, you're going to have a down payment and you're going to have some closing costs. We're actually going to touch on that here in a little bit. So let's talk about the rent and inflation for a moment. Rents usually go up faster than the overall cost of living. In many cities, there's not enough housing, so landlords can keep raising rents. For example, from 2010 to 2020, so just 10 years, rents went up over 36%, but inflation actually only went up 19%. Pretty big difference. While inflation averages 2 to 3% a year, rents can increase anywhere from 5 to 10, sometimes more. With so many people renting and not enough homes, landlords do actually have the upper hand in that. And if you stay in the same place long term, those yearly rent hikes really add up over time. So even though rents feel easier in the short term, it often costs more in the long run. The difference between renters and homeowners. Right now, the average homeowner has a net worth of about $400,000. The average renter, around $10,000. So that's a 40 times difference. We ask why? Because homeowners build equity over time, and as they pay down their loan and their home value actually goes up. It's like a built-in savings plan for you guys with every mortgage payment that you're making. Renters, on the other hand, are literally just paying someone else's mortgage, like we mentioned earlier. They're not building any ownership. So over the years, owning a home helps create real financial stability and long-term wealth. And there's a lot of different details in that, which we can kind of talk about in a one-on-one conversation. It's a little deeper. So deciding whether to rent or buy really depends on your personal situation, and there's no right answer for everyone. Some people it is best to rent, and some people want to make that transition to owning. But here are a few simple things to actually think about. First, how stable is your job and your income? If things are steady, buying could be a good move. Next, how long do you plan to stay in the area? If it's at least 3 to 5 years, buying might make more sense financially. You'll also want to look at your credit and your savings. Those are big factors when qualifying for a loan. And think about your monthly budget as well. In many cases, a mortgage payment can actually be close to or even sometimes less than what you're paying in rent. Don't forget lifestyle. If you want flexibility or don't want to deal with home maintenance, renting might feel easier right now. That could be the route to stay in. But at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is connect with a professional and a real estate agent and lender to kind of weigh out your options. So I want to share a story with you guys, a real quick story. It's about one of our clients that we helped recently, and we're going to call her Sarah for the sake of name. Sarah had been renting for years and always assumed buying a home was out of her reach, and she wasn't sure if she had enough saved and she thought her credit was too low to qualify. She reached out to Jocelyn and I from one of these webinars just to get some information. She knew there was no pressure. She just wanted to ask questions. We actually connected her with one of our trusted lenders, and together we found out that her credit wasn't as low as she thought. With a few quick fixes and some guidance with the right person, she was able to get everything in order pretty quickly. After reviewing her finances, she realized her mortgage payment would be a bit higher than her rent, but the home met her needs perfectly. It even had a backyard that she could bring her dog to. So she relocated, was keeping the dog at her parents', and she finally got to bring him to her house. So that was a win-win. Within 70 days, Sarah had the keys to her very first home, and all it took was actually getting in front of the right people, the right support, and some planning. So if you're wondering whether you're ready, again, it's just the conversation that's worth having. One more story. This is Jason. Jason was moving to Las Vegas from Texas and originally reached out to me as a potential renter. He didn't think buying was possible. He had zero money basically saved for a down payment and only a little set aside for closing costs. But during our first consultation, we uncovered quite a bit. He had steady income, decent credit, and qualified for a down payment assistance program. We also explored a closing cost grant, but in the end, he actually didn't need to use it because we were able to negotiate the seller to cover all of his closing costs. And after running the numbers, we realized that buying a home would actually cost less than what he would have spent on deposits and upfront costs for a rental. So in under 60 days, Jason went from planning to rent to owning his very first home in Las Vegas with almost no out-of-pocket costs. Again, all it took was that conversation and getting in the front of the right people. All right, questions time. So let's get those jotted down. Pop them in the chat if you're feeling comfortable doing that. And we'll get to the next topic. All right, so we're going to take just a quick moment. I'm going to grab a quick drink, but we've got the link posted there, the QR code. Jocelyn's going to go ahead and put that link in the chat again. So I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to capture that if you're ready to take a look at that calendar. I feel like I need music in the background.
I can sing for you.
I'm not used to my house being so quiet. Usually my dogs are like going insane right now. They're behaving. All right, so let's take a few minutes to break down one of the most important parts of buying a home, credit and financing. And I promise to keep it simple. I know we've thrown a lot of numbers out at you guys. So let's keep it simple and clear so you can walk away knowing what matters and how to prepare. One of the biggest questions buyers ask myself, I'm sure Jocelyn can attest to this, is my credit score good enough to buy a home? This is, like I said, the number one question I get from buyers, and it's a good one. Most people assume that they need perfect credit, and sometimes we wonder, what is perfect credit, right? That's a loaded question, and it's actually not true. So let's talk about what's considered a good score and how it really affects your ability to buy. We're going to tackle some common myths about credit scores and buying a home. First, you don't have to have a credit score of 620 or higher to qualify. There are loan programs that work with lower scores. Second, having a lower score doesn't automatically mean you can't get a mortgage. It might just mean your interest rate is going to be a little bit higher. Remember, we talked about the refinance later. Also, improving your credit even a little can make a big difference in your monthly payments. Also, remember, credit is important, but lenders also look at your income, your debts, and your savings. There's a lot of other factors that come in together with that. Lastly, while perfect credit gets the best rates, there are many options to help buyers with different credit situations. Start by checking your current credit score. Knowing where you stand is key. From there, focus on paying down high balances and making all your payments on time. These two things alone can give your score a healthy boost. It's also smart to avoid opening any new credit cards. If you know you're going to be getting ready to look into purchasing a home, I would not change anything right now with your credit or your job. Kind of keep everything where it is. Also, any loans that you have, keep those at bay while we're preparing to buy. And if you find any mistakes on your credit report, get them corrected early. A lot of times people don't know how to get those corrected. So again, got to get you in front of the right people so that we're making the right decisions. Even small improvements to your credit can increase your buying power and lower your interest rate. Pro tip, connecting with a mortgage professional early on is one of the best moves you can make. They'll help guide you on where your credit stands, what programs you might qualify for, and the exact steps to take from here. Sometimes you think that paying off this credit card or doing this or doing that is the right thing, where actually that did nothing to help your score out. It was actually touching on, D and E, basically. So once you've taken a few steps to get credit ready, even if your score isn't perfect, the good news is that there are multiple loan options designed to work with a range of credit and financial situations. For example, FHA loans are a great fit for first-time home buyers with lower credit scores or limited savings. If your credit's stronger, conventional loans might offer better long-term savings with as little as 3% down. If you're active duty or a veteran, VA loans offer a huge benefit with no down payment required. And if you're buying in a qualifying rural area, one of the hardest words to say, USDA loans can do the same. Plus, there are many programs out there specifically for first-time home buyers, including down payment help, closing cost grants, and other local support that could make a big difference. Now, remember, you may have owned a home before, you haven't owned a home in 3 years, you are now going to qualify as a first-time home buyer. What is the best part? You don't have to figure out alone. I know I sound like a broken record, but I think a lot of times we get so overwhelmed because we feel like we just have to figure this out on our own. Getting in front of those right people, that's going to give you the right information and probably clear a lot of concerns up. So again, let's take another little quick pause. I want to do a temperature check. If you have any questions so far, go ahead and drop them in the chat or jot them down so we can come back to them later or during consultation. No question is too small or too simple. If you're thinking it, chances are someone else is too, I promise. Take a moment to check in with yourself. How are you feeling about the information so far? And give me a thumbs up if you're still with us. Hopefully your mind's not everywhere. It'll come back if it is, I promise. And then here is just another quick slide and reminder, if you haven't already, great time right now, scan that QR code on your screen or click the link. Jocelyn, pop that in the box for me again if it's not still up.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And like I said earlier, for any of you guys that came on late, it's simply a way for you to reserve time to talk through your unique situation, ask your questions privately, and get real guidance based on your goals. It's completely secure. There is zero pressure, and your info will never be sold or shared. It's just a tool to help you take the next step with confidence. All right, so let's talk about something that can be a real game changer for many buyers, down payment assistance. A lot of people think you need to save tens of thousands of dollars to buy a home. That's not always the case. It's hardly ever the case, honestly. There are programs out there specifically designed to help first-time buyers get into a home with less out of pocket. So here's a few key things to understand about down payment assistance programs. First, many are tied to where the home is located. So the program you qualify for depends on the area you want to buy in. Next, most programs have income limits, meaning they're designed to help buyers within certain income levels. Some programs require you to live in the home for a minimum number of years, and that's to make sure that the assistance goes to buyers who are really committed to owning. There are also programs that offer interest rates better than what you might find on the open market, which can save you money over time. Finally, some programs can actually cover 100% of your down payment, meaning you might not need to bring any money up front, especially if we can get the seller to pay closing costs. All these details can vary a lot from one program to another, so it's really important to get the right guidance. There's a lot of variety when it comes to down payment assistance programs. Some are simple grants that help cover your down payment and don't need to be repaid. Others are designed specifically for certain jobs like teachers, first responders, and military personnel. We also have the culinary one out here also. And that's just, to give a thank you for your service. Interestingly, some programs were created as a response to unfair bank practices from decades ago. If you guys have been around for a minute, you kind of remember some of that happening. It's aiming to make home buying more accessible for you. There are even federal tax credits that can pay you back a portion of your mortgage interest every year, which helps reduce your overall costs. Good tip that I want to share with you guys. And I don't know that many people know or understand this. Sometimes you can combine what we call stack these programs to get even more assistance, but you'll want to work with a professional to make sure you're using them right. They're going to set all that up for you, tell you your options and what you can use. Something to keep in mind. The qualifications for each vary, as we kind of mentioned in the past slide. So you are going to have to qualify for each one of those in order to stack them. The other thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is not all lenders work with all programs. The lenders that we work closely with work with many of these. Some work with different ones or some work with all. So again, don't think you're just going to go to a financial institution, a bank, or Joe Schmo lender and get the lowdown on what you're going to qualify with the programs, because they don't all work with them. All right, so Southern Nevada has a ton of helpful programs for home buyers. If you're a teacher, first responder, or military, you may qualify for special grants designed just for your profession, like we mentioned, but these are grants now. There's the popular Home is Possible program, which gives you money towards your down payment, and the WISH program, which matches your savings to help you hit your goal even faster. Some lenders offer their own in-house assistance, and sometimes you can even stack, like we said, these programs for added support. Keep in mind, this list right here is just a starting point. There are so many assistance programs out there, and this slide only scratches the bare surface of them. So if you're looking at this list and you're thinking, okay, none of these apply to me, don't worry. That absolutely does not mean you're out of options. Like I said, there's a ton more. The truth is there are dozens of programs with different eligibility requirements, and many are less known or not advertised publicly, so we may not have ever heard of them. And that's why it's so important to connect with someone who knows those programs, the local market, and can dig into the right resources for your situation. All right, we saw this slide earlier many times. Take a breather, check in with yourself, continue to write those questions down. If you feel comfortable putting any of them in the chat box, go ahead and do that as well. Also take a sip of water if you need. Dogs are still being quiet.
Yeah.
Hopefully I haven't spoke too soon.
No.
All right, and then here's that link again, the QR code. Jocelyn, pop that in the chat box. And I know we keep showing this, but I just want to make sure if you miss it, you've got it again. And again, for anybody that's jumped on late, it's simply to book your free one-on-one session with us. It's completely secure, no spam, no pressure, just a safe space to explore your options and ask personal questions and get clarity on what your home ownership path may look like. All right, perfect. All right, so we've got some more information, but before we dive into the next topic, I want to let you know, like I said earlier, we will have a special guest joining us. This is one of our preferred top lenders. He's working with one of my clients right now, and we're actually looking at doing a 2.5-week close. He moves quickly if we can get it done. So he should be joining us here momentarily. This is John Morgan from Epic Lending. So let's dive in to the next.
Just to let you know.
What's that?
I said John's here, just to let you know.
Oh, hi, John. You guys are really small in the corner of my screen, so I can see my slides. So whether you're just starting to think about it or already browsing listings, understanding this process will make your journey smoother and less stressful. We'll cover how to prepare to prepare, search smartly, protect yourself during due diligence, and what to expect before you get your keys. Quick show of hands. Who here loves the idea of keeping more money in your pocket when making a big purchase? Who doesn't, right? I know I do. Especially when buying a home, every dollar counts. This is, for many of us, one of the biggest purchases we're ever going to make. We want to keep as much money in our pocket as possible. And that way we can buy all the pretty furniture and decorations, right? So this next part is all about helping you make smart moves so you can save where it matters most. So let's start with the foundation, getting prepared to buy a home. This phase is all about setting yourself up for success. First step, get pre-approved for a mortgage. This not only shows sellers you're serious, but it also gives you a clear idea of what you can afford. Next, take a good look at your budget and your credit score. Knowing where you stand financially will help guide your decisions. Then write out your list of must-haves and deal breakers. This will help narrow down your search and keep you focused. Most importantly, don't go at it alone. Your agent is going to take up all of this information. We're going to do the dirty work and the hard work for you. We're going to do the searching. We're going to look at the, every little detail of that home, that property, that listing. What is the seller looking for? So make sure you're partnering with the right person. You want to make sure they're knowledgeable, they know the market, and they can help you avoid common pitfalls and keep things moving very smoothly. Now that you're prepared, let's talk about how to search for the right home the smart way. It's easy to get caught up. I know I do. I get caught up in the pretty pictures online. I think exactly what I'm seeing online is what I'm going to walk into when I walk in that house. But the key is to stay focused on homes that truly fit your budget and your needs as well. Use trusted, up-to-date listing sources. Don't rely solely on random websites or social media. Be patient and intentional. The right home might not be on the market right now. It may not pop up overnight, and that's okay. And as tempting as it is to skip a visit because the photos look great, always schedule a tour, because seeing a home in person can reveal things that photos actually will not show you. Searching with the right strategy saves you time, it saves you energy, and it helps you avoid buyer's remorse. Once you have found the right home and your offer is accepted, the next phase is all about protection. This is your due diligence period. During this time, we review the property disclosures and can schedule inspections if needed. I hate that. They're always needed, so I don't even like saying that. But this is where you find out, and this is where you find out if the home truly checks out behind the scenes. You'll also have contingencies in place like appraisal, loan approval, and title review that allow you to walk away if something major comes up. The key here is to stay on top of your deadlines and lean on your agent to guide you through what's normal and what's a red flag. And if anything needs repair or negotiation, this is your window to request credits or changes before moving forward. Now you're in the home stretch, kind of. We're going to closing. And at this point, your loan goes into final underwriting, where the lender does one last check to make sure everything is good to go. This is not the time to make any big financial moves, like buying a car, opening credit cards, or changing jobs. Even small changes can actually delay or completely derail the process. Once approved, your funds will be wired to escrow and the property will be recorded in your name within that county. That's when it's official and not before. So hold off on hiring movers or celebrating just yet. We've got to get you to that finish line. Once everything is recorded, that's when you get the keys and can start the exciting move into your new home. It's all yours. All right, so as promised, I want to introduce someone who brings a tremendous amount of value to this process, our lending partner, John Morgan. John's background is incredibly unique and powerful. He's handled thousands of real estate transactions, which gives him a deep understanding of both the buying and selling side. That experience allows him to be especially creative when it comes to structuring loans and finding solutions that fit each buyer's specific situation. On top of that, one of the biggest advantages of working with John and his team is their responsiveness and availability. You'll never feel like you're navigating this alone. With that, I'll turn it over to John to share a few insights and walk you through some key lending tips every buyer should know right now. Hey, John.
Thanks,
Hi,
Allison.
John.
Hello. All right. So Allison touched on something very important. When it comes to the lending world, there are tons of products. There is tons of TikToks out there. Everybody's got this latest and greatest thing. And especially when it comes to grants and down payment assistance and all these programs. And, you know, go by the whole, if it sounds too good to be true, it could be somewhat like that. You know, it's not, it may exist, but it may exist in a very limited fashion, meaning it may only account for a small window for people to qualify, or there may be a low amount of money set aside for the program. And when those programs run out of money, they're gone. Even if you're halfway through the lending process and you're 2 weeks away from close or even a few days from close, and that money's gone, it's gone. So, you know, it's very key to be creative, and it's not a one size fits all business. We need to be custom based on your needs and your goals. And, you know, it's not always your first home, it's your first step, right? You know, the true way to build wealth is homeownership, you know, owning multiple homes and growing wealth through that way. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, and having a plan, like I said, not just for this first home or just this second home, but where are you going? What do you want out of home ownership? And, you know, there's a lot of media out there. I think everybody, I swear, the first thing that comes out of everybody's mouth when I walk into a room or someone finds out I'm a lender is, when are the rates going down? And you know what? The rates have been going down, and people get caught up in the day to day and the media. Oh, the rates went up today. Not really. They may have showed that they might have spiked a bit. They say, oh, it went up 10 points or this or that. It's very minute, and it won't even affect the rate that much. When people are focused on the day to day, it really ties them up in this whole home search and, can I get a loan? Just know, I mean, perfect example is I've had someone approved and sitting there for 90 days on a refinance, and the rate dipped finally down low enough to lock it just a few weeks ago. So 90 days ago, the rates were up here, and they've slowly trended down, regardless of the day-to-days that go up and down. So don't get hung up on the media. But aside from where the rates are, there are opportunities. If you could switch to the next slide, Allison. Oh,
There you go.
so what you need to understand is the values of homes are not going down. They're going to increase. They're going to keep increasing. If you look at 20 and 21 and 2020, average appreciation is 10 to 19%. That was an anomaly because we were in an inventory crisis. You look, there's only really one spot where it was red, and that was back in the bubble. And that was because we had so much inventory that people were just giving their houses away. They had to get out of them. The prices were crashing. That was, you know, the bubble. We're not going to see a bubble because we will continue to be in inventory crisis for tens of years to come. So just know that the values are not coming down. The prices will fluctuate. Someone will list a home and they'll drop the home, but the overall value never really decreased. It keeps increasing from the last time they bought it. But you will see a lot of specials. Builders will be offering rates that are way below what you see online and on the media. And there are tricks in this business. And if you could learn anything from today, there's the difference between an actual permanent buy down, which people are used to. When you buy down the rate and they say, I'm going to buy it down 1 point, you're not buying it down a full percent. You're buying it down 100 basis points, which is 1% of the loan amount. So if your loan is $500,000, it's going to cost you $5,000, and it's going to move you about 1/4 to 3/8%. And right now in this day, it's not worth it because we know the rates are going down. And the better option, because if you refinance, let's say you get a rate at 6.75 today and it's all the way to 6.25, even next year. If you paid $5,000 to save $45 a month on your payment, you're going to lose $4,000 next year when you refinance, because that money goes in the trash. Better option is these temporary buy downs. Instead of, buying it down 1/8 of a percent or 1/4 or 3/8 of a percent, you can get it down 2 full percent. It's temporary. It means the most popular one right now is a 2-1, meaning over the next 2 years after we close, for year one, if we locked in a rate at 6.75, your payment's based on a 4.75. So when you hear builders offering 4.75 or even 3.75 or ridiculously low rates, there is some creativity in these temporary buy downs, and it's not forever. Make sure you understand what you're getting into. But it's a great tactic to avoid paying higher rates right now. Even a year from now, we're going to be in the low 6s across the board, even with conventional. So it's worth it to get that 2-1 buy down, get the seller concessions, which they're doing. This is the perfect time to buy. Over the next 9-12 months, this is the best buyer window. If you can afford it, get in now, because when those rates officially dip into the 5s, there will be at least 6 million buyers that will now be qualified to get back in the market and buy, and you will be competing. It's fact. It's truly a fact. It's not a sales tactic. And you don't want to be on the sideline and fighting for that. You want to be refinancing the home after whether you got a buy down or not, refinancing that home that you're already in. So there are a lot of creative ways, and ultimately we have every product available. It comes down to what product fits you, your situation, your goals. If you can afford the mortgage, we're going to find the right product for you. So
there's a lot of creative ways to do, some of the things that you offer as a lender, but also what we do when we're writing offers
Yes.
as well. So,
just like your client, a
Mhm.
normal client could have gone off and buy an investment property and do a conventional investment loan and pay a certain rate, or they can go the product they chose and get super creative and actually get a lower rate than a conventional investment product. So
yeah, John, thank you. Are you going to stick around to the end?
Yep, I can
Okay,
do that.
perfect, because we may have some questions to follow up with you on. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Is everybody with us? We're feeling good? All right. Okay, so before we actually wrap this up, let's talk about what to look for when touring homes, and how to make an offer that stands out. So first, get clear on your priorities. What are your must-haves? What can you live without? There is no perfect home out there, so we want to be a little flexible and reasonable in what we're looking for in that home. And this helps avoid distractions and emotional decision making. When you walk through a home, don't just fall for all the pretty backsplash. We want to focus on the layout, the neighborhood, and things that are hard to change. You can change the floors, you can change the paint. You can't change where that house is, and it's really can't change how it's laid out either. We'll also look at comparable sales so you know what a fair offer looks like. And when it's time to make an offer, remember, price matters, but so do terms, flexibility, and how clean your offer is. It's not always just about price. Will help position you to be as competitive as possible without overpaying. And I will tell you guys right now, just in going through this market as both a seller and a buyer myself, sellers just want offers in a lot of cases. There are homes that are sitting on the market, and sellers aren't getting a lot of offers or any offers. So you never know what you can actually get into without, if you don't, just write the offer up. The worst thing they can do is just reject it. They may counter it or they may accept it. So let's talk about a concern that we hear a lot, and that is the fear of overpaying for a home. And here's the truth. If you're planning to stay in your home for at least 5 years, sometimes 3, chances are very good that you will not overpay. Real estate generally appreciates over time. There are exceptions, unexpected market shifts or other rare events, but in most cases, your investment grows. So keep that in mind. Also, sometimes what feels like overpaying isn't really that at all. Market factors like demand or limited inventory can temporarily raise prices, but that does not mean that you're making a bad decision. So, what's the best mindset? We want to focus on your long-term goals, your needs, and your family, not just the price tag on day one. This approach helps you buy with confidence and peace of mind. So again, let's talk about mindset. A lot of first-time buyers feel pressure to find the perfect home, but I want you to remember, your first home, like John mentioned this earlier, doesn't have to be your forever home. Many people start with a smart, strategic choice, something that builds equity and creates opportunity for the future. You can always level up later using the home you started with as leverage and equity. You may even choose to rent that first home out and have that income coming in while you move into your next home. And even for those who think they're buying their forever home, life actually has a way of shifting. Needs, wants, and priorities change. So even though you think you're buying that forever home, you don't know what's going to happen, even 7, 8, 10 years from now. You may need to move for some reason. Now, if your goal truly is to find your forever home, we'll take a different approach and focus on what you love most. But it's okay if this first one is just a stepping stone. Either way, Jocelyn and I, John, we're here to help you make a move that actually makes sense for you. When you're thinking about buying a new build, let's talk about that a little bit. There are some great benefits, John kind of touched on this as well, to keep in mind. New homes usually come with modern features and effective energy efficiency, which can save you money over time. You'll often get warranties and builder guarantees, so you have extra protection. That said, be prepared for possible wait times before you can move in, since these homes might still be under construction. Also, because builders set the prices, there's typically less room to negotiate compared to resale homes. New builds tend to be in growing neighborhoods, so you might be moving into an exciting kind of developing community. One very important tip, always work with your own buyer's agent. They'll advocate for you, they'll help you navigate the process, and they'll make sure your interests come first, not the builders. Remember, if you guys walk into that sales office at the new home community, that sales rep in there, they can help you, but I want you to keep in mind, they represent the builder. They do not represent you. All right, so again, I want to know, how are you feeling? We hope you guys are feeling a little bit more confident than what we first started tonight, maybe even just a little less overwhelmed. If so, drop a quick yes in the chat, or just tell us how you're feeling. Give us maybe one kind of word to describe your emotions right now. Remember, this space is all about clarity, not pressure, and I'm glad you're here getting empowered. That is the goal tonight. So I think we can all agree, hopefully all of us, that we've covered a lot, and it's been quite a journey, and I hope you're finding it valuable. If you found this helpful, give us a thumbs up or a yes. It makes us feel a little bit better.
Okay, Mercedes said yes. Britima, I think I'm saying her name right. She said there's more questions, but it's helping, right?
Good.
Thumbs up. That's good.
Good. That makes us feel
Rena,
we're on the right path.
Rena says yes. So yes, it's
Perfect.
helping. We're glad. That's the whole purpose of this.
All right, and our primary objective is to deliver an exceptionally positive experience for our clients. So the fact that you guys are feeling even better right now is kind of moving us, like that's the path that we want to be on. We are not fully satisfied, Jocelyn and I know John is not. We are not fully satisfied until we are assured that our clients are entirely happy. Ultimately, the most humbling moment for us occurs when we have the privilege of handing over the keys to our clients. And we love seeing these 5-star reviews. Again, we do this for, there's a lot of emotions in this process. We've been there ourselves. We know how, I guess, overwhelming and frustrating and just tedious it can sometimes feel. If you have the right team on your side, you should not be feeling all those emotions all the time. There's a lot of things that are going to happen kind of, that you may never even know. We just get you to that finish line. Although we are great communicators, but we try not to overwhelm. So what are the next steps? first step, book a call with us. You guys have had that QR code. Jocelyn's popped the link in the chat. We're going to pop that up one more time for you guys. But that's going to be the first step, is just book that session with us. It's usually 30 minutes, maybe 45. It's to, you know, whatever you need from us to discuss your personal situation and get some insight, some clarity, and maybe some direction on where we go from there. That second step is going to be typically getting that pre-approval. If any of you guys that are joining us tonight or watching the replay, if you've gotten the pre-approval, but we haven't done that first step, you really haven't started there and found that right agent, let's back up a little bit. Love that you have the pre-approval. We got to find you the right people. And then number 3, we start that process. We kind of go through your wants, your needs, your non-negotiables. Where are you flexible? Where do you want to be? What does that home look like for you? We start to kind of navigate through that, and we pull that list together and we get you out there shopping for your home. So those are just the first 3 steps. As promised, there's that QR code again. If tonight sparked even just one question, idea, or possibility for you, let's actually talk more. That's the first step. This is your reminder that you can scan that QR code on your screen, or you can click the secured link that Jocelyn is dropping in the chat to schedule your free one-on-one session with us. I will say, if when you click on that, if there's not a day open or a time open that works for you, we're going to actually pop up our information here in one of the slides, so you can actually take down our phone numbers and then shoot us a text or
Take a
call.
picture with your phone, you know.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. Oh, where are all these little pop-ups coming from? Okay. Again, no pressure, no spam, just a real conversation focused on your situation, your questions, and what makes the most sense for you. Jocelyn and I would just love the opportunity to connect and help you guys. So again, we just want to say a big heartfelt thank you for spending your time with us tonight. Whether you're just starting to think about homeownership or you're already taking some of the steps, I hope you're walking away feeling more empowered, more informed, and most importantly, more confident in what's next for you. So thank you. So we're gonna, as promised, we're gonna open up to some Q&A. Jocelyn, I don't know if you've had a lot of questions come through. Go ahead and keep those, kind of bundled those up. If you guys have questions, pop those in the chat. We're going to cover some of the top 5 questions that we hear. And then John, let's see, how are we doing on time?
Yeah,
You guys are, okay,
yeah,
so we're going to
have
move.
a few great questions.
Yeah, we'll move through this
Earlier.
fairly quickly.
Yeah, so I sent it to you.
And then also, if anybody needs to pop off, like I said, you're more than welcome to, but we'd love for you, any of you guys that want to stay on a little longer. If you want to ask some of those questions, we'll open up the microphones for you. All right, so number 1, one of the big top questions that we get is now really a good time to buy, or should I wait for rates or prices to come down? Jocelyn, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, that is one of the most common questions right now. And the truth is, there's no perfect time, only the right time for your situation, because each situation is different. While interest rate may fluctuate, waiting for rates or prices to drop often means facing more competition and higher prices when they do. So right now we're seeing less buyer competition, which is a good time to put offers on the market, which means you can negotiate a little bit more and get the closing costs that you need or whatever else, you know, help that they can provide. But if you're financially ready, buying now could actually give you more leverage, and you can always refinance later if rates improve, just like what John said. So.
Exactly. Okay. Love it. How much money do I need to buy a home? Jocelyn?
Lots of money. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, a lot of people assume they need 20% down, but that's a myth. In today's market, many buyers purchase with as little as 3% to 5% down. And again, if you're a veteran, it's 0%. So depending on the loan program. And there's also first-time buyer assistance programs that can help with down payment and closing costs. Now, our team, including John, will work with we'll work with John, our trusted lender, to explore all your options and build a plan that works with your budget. So, yep, you don't need a whole lot of money.
Yeah. Sometimes, like I think I said this earlier, sometimes it costs more money to get into a rental initially than it does to purchase a home. In some, not all cases, I will say, but there have been times we've been able to do
Yeah,
that.
Allison, to add to that, I've had a lot of
Uh-huh.
clients right now getting into homes for $500 or $1,000 out of pocket.
I love
It's a
it.
lot
Oh.
cheaper than a
Yeah.
rental. And on your first question, this market's going to appreciate with or without you. You know, if
Yeah.
we choose to get in, and I remember my first home was a town home, and we got what we could get, and it appreciated, and we moved up. It's kind of going back to that time. A lot of people just want to jump right into that 4-bedroom, 2-car garage, single level, but there's an affordability issue. So, you know, again, take what you can get now, ride the market up, sell it, and get something you want in the next move.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of things that for Vegas, there's a lot of factors that play into why this housing market is not going to, why we're not going to see those prices go down. So I have a whole list of things that I was writing down today of like what's coming to Las Vegas and what's going to continue to,
Yeah.
keep the values of our homes, rising basically. Okay, third question. What's the first step if I want to buy a home? Jocelyn, you want to take this or you want me to?
Sure, I can take it. Well, the very first step is to connect with us so we can understand your goals, your timeline, and financial comfort zone. From there, we'll help you get pre-approved with a lender, which shows sellers you're serious and gives you a clear picture of what you can afford. Now, once that's in place, we start the fun part, house hunting.
Yes, that's the fun part.
Yes.
Depending on what you walk into, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be scary too.
What if I find a home I love, but I'm not sure I can afford it? You want this one, Jocelyn?
Sure. Well, that's exactly where we take a pre-approval first approach. Once you're pre-approved, you'll know exactly what your monthly payment will look like for homes in your price range, including taxes, insurance, and homeowners association fees if there are any. Now, if you find something you love just above your budget, we can explore creative strategies like seller concessions or rate buy down that John was talking about to help make it work. So, but anyway, I was gonna go about you have to. Never mind. Next question. I was trying to.
Jocelyn's mind just starts like.
Yeah, I was trying to
Didn't want to go down a rabbit hole.
Question.
That's so funny. Remember, every situation is different, Jocelyn.
Right. Right. I know.
Okay, so fifth question before we move into any questions that came from you guys. I'm going to take this one, but John, I kind of feel like you're going to want to like plug into it at the end. So if you want to, go for it. What if I buy now and the market crashes? So what I would say to you guys is, real estate markets are local, and while no one can predict the future, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or, 5 years from now. Today's conditions are not pointing towards a crash. And Don, I think you kind of said something about that earlier, especially in Las Vegas. Prices have stabilized, inventory is up, and we're in a much more balanced market. Plus, if you're buying a home, like we said, to live in for the next 5 to 7 years, short-term market changes don't impact your long-term value and will help you buy smart, not just buy something for right now. John, thoughts on that?
Yeah, COVID cost us some inventory back in the COVID years. A lot of buildings stopped, and we weren't really good with inventory back then. It's going to take us well over 20 years to recover from that inventory loss. So to have the market crash, that's why the market crashed in the first year. That's why the bubble burst, the amount of inventory that was available. So, the rates aren't bad, 6 or 7%.
They were higher this time last year, right?
Yeah, they're not
Mhm.
12, they're not 18%. People are still able to afford homes. It's just they might not afford the perfect home right now. So don't be afraid. And you know what? Most of the good products are 30-year fixed term. So if the market does crash, you'll be fine. Your
Yeah, you have
rates
a home.
locked, rates go up, You don't have anything to worry about. And actually, if you look at the grids for the values, the actual chart of home values, if someone would have held on to their home from 2008, let's say if the worth was about 400,000 in 2006 and it dropped to 250 or 200 in 2008 and 9, that same home is worth 650 right now. So if they would have held on, they wouldn't have had to foreclose or short sale, and they'd have almost double the equity in there. So, you know, media puts a lot of doom and gloom. So
Yeah.
don't bank on a crashing market.
Yeah. And I think what, my perspective is, I know, like I said, a lot, we've heard that word crash. I think it's been overused so much over these past few years. But, crash may not be a good thing. And what happens when again, we use that word crash. If the market crashes and you're in a rental, or you don't have a home of your own, chances are that seller could default. They could, sell it. You may not have a place to stay at that point.
Right. Well,
So-
bottom line, you have to live somewhere.
Correct.
If you're renting and if you're not renting, again, you're subject to what's going to happen to the seller situation. So it's better if you have your own place and you can control it,
Yeah.
And, so that's
And
all.
our role here is not to talk anybody out. Again, if anybody's renting and you're kind of contemplating, do I
Right.
purchase? Our role and our goal is not to talk anybody into purchasing. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk to you about what's happening in the market. What is your situation? And does it make sense for you? We may tell you, you know what, right now, maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe go ahead and rent for another year or 2 years. But I always say, again, we've covered a lot of information and hopefully some of that put some puzzle pieces together for you. But I am a firm believer of, like, if you can purchase a home, your own home, by all means do it. But it is all about timing as well. So the time that might be right for you may not be right for somebody else, etc. So I'll end my note on that.
Yeah. Also, Las Vegas is just growing population. People are coming from California and all the other states, and we're doing that. I think there's a rail that's going to be built. There's Oakland A's are coming. I mean, it's going to be a sports mecca, and people are going to want to be close to it. So, and we're going to need living arrangements for all those people. So that's why I am not worried. Again, we don't have crystal ball unless there's some kind of a disaster that we weren't anticipating. I think we should be okay.
Yeah. I know it's about 8:15. We kind of gave ourselves an hour. We went over a little bit, but we've had some really good context. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and John, of yours as well. If there's anybody that has one of their questions that they want us to kind of go over right now, give us you can raise your hand or you can give us, a thumbs up in the chat, and we will stick around with you for that. But
best way is book a time, so then you have this all to yourselves.
Yeah.
And ask questions.
All right. And then I've got, like I said, if you've got my contact information and Jocelyn's, we are both here for you guys. We want to get in contact with John. Please let us know. We'll get you in contact with John. And again, if we didn't get to any of your specific questions or something comes up later, that's exactly what those one-on-one sessions are for. So go ahead and get that booked. Are you guys good if we hop off? Did anybody want to?
Anybody? Let me
Okay.
let me unmute everybody and see
Yeah,
if
thank
we
you.
have any.
You've got control of the mute button.
That's right. Ask the mute.
You think we're good? Everybody's kind of quiet. I see that a few have gone ahead and booked their sessions too, so that's good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we're going to give you guys your evening back. Thank you again. Take care. Stay, keep those questions in your mind. And like I said, even if you're feeling like it's not you can't do this right now, you might actually be able to. You might surprise yourself. But we look forward to connecting with you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye. Good night.